Welcome to BCB Live. Yes, we are that safest station in the nation. Welcome to BCB Live. We're the safest station in the nation. Sir Rick and Drive Safe Dave reminding you to take the detour to Sir Rick, who brings you the truth, who brings you justice. Drive Safe Dave.
When it's under repair and you need to go a different direction, that's the way you need to go. Don't go on the regular route.
Hey, the detour. Things that we should think about. Let's get a little bit serious here for a second. When you run across that detour sign in a big truck, as opposed to a car, a four-wheeler. Hey, Drive Safe. What are things you got to start thinking about?
You got to start thinking. Really, you got to start thinking about turning radiuses. You got to start thinking about clearances. You got to start thinking about width of roads and traffic, and you got to start. All of a sudden, these 360-degree items start going through your mind when you start hitting those detour signs, especially the road surface, because you want to make sure you're running on a smooth road surface.
And oftentimes when you see that detour, Drive Safe Dave, I'll just get your opinion. I know you're not a professional driver any longer, so you don't really count. It's not like once a Marine, always a Marine in this. Hey, Drive Safe Dave, no longer a CDL holder.
Yeah,
you're now in the ranking of Sir Rick. Yeah. And I'm telling you, no respect from our truck drivers when you're in my ranking on that. Hey, but Dave, when you see detours, do you maintain that speed?
No. No, anytime
you go faster?
No. Anytime you see these, anytime you see an orange sign, when you see an orange sign, it means caution, slow down, get to know your environment. It's going to be different, it's going to be different, it's going to change. You're going to want to make sure that you're doing the right thing, but you're going to have to slow down and be the leader of the road out there, especially in those construction zones.
Yeah, remember, you do control, right, Drive Safe? When you're out there, you're controlling the speed from all those behind you. So Make sure you're not going too fast, right? Otherwise, you're setting the wrong example, because examples can be good and bad. Hey, Dave, we're going to take a quick break, but before we go to break, listen, there is a lot of breaking news out there. I don't know if it's rumors or not, but you're hearing a lot of stories right now about yellow freight. We're going to talk yellow for a second in honor of Sir Rick, right? Yellow it is. We'll be right back. First, a commercial break with more BCB Live.
The safest station in the nation.
All right. Hey, check it out. Here we are live right here in Mansfield, Texas, our BCB Live studio. What I really love about this place right now are the endless opportunities, the endless ways that you can use this studio. Hey, welcome back to the 2023 Pickle Parade. BCB Live, we started out really focused on that transportation, that trucking only. Talking about safety, making sure that we're giving that story about safety. We have the ability to do interviews, social media content, sales opportunities. What are you showcasing? What are you doing today that you've got to get that out? Welcome back to BCB Live. We're the safest station in the nation, and Drive Safe Dave. Sometimes we're not the first to break it, but I'm going to be honest with you. As we dive into a little bit of that yellow roadway, the oldest LTL carrier in today's environment?
Over 100 years old.
Yeah, it's been around a long time. Dave, we're hearing rumors is really what I want to kind of go to as to possible Chapter 11 as soon as Monday. People taking their breaks and, their vacations, getting those out, telling the customers to quit shipping out. Dave, I'm kind of hearing conflicting stories as well. I don't know if it's exactly news yet. We haven't seen anything, I don't believe, coming from the actual people at Yellow Roadway. We're hearing it from people that maybe watched some conversations, right?
Yeah, and I think it's confusing. Not only is it confusing to the Teamsters, it's confusing to their own people, their own employees, and you got drivers and you got all people in staff. It's confusing to them. And what about customers?
Yeah,
I mean what message are you sending to the customers right now?
Well, at the end of the day, you got to think already you've probably lost a lot of your customers, right? We've seen the freight volume out of Yellow already begin that process. If you're a customer today, why would you put a load on a Yellow truck? So yeah, it becomes detrimental now, almost at a spin that, Dave, if it's not true, it's probably going to be true because you can't whirl out of this thing. And Dave, this was a company that last year did over $5 billion in revenue.
Yeah, and you're talking what? 20,000 Teamster Union members alone is involved in this company, and that doesn't include all of the staffing.
Yeah.
That doesn't include everybody in management. I mean, you're talking about a lot of people employed at this company that's going to make a real impact on their lives, right, Sir Rick? That's their lives that are going to be
let me tell you something. Something you've got to think about, because it is the effect. It is going to affect a lot of lives on here. It goes to, is it management? You hear the banter going back and forth, especially on those pages that allow the people to voice their concern. Union versus non-union employees. Listen, it takes a lot of people to make that kind of company go down. Technology, Drive Safe Dave. It's work ethic. Right? It's making the right decisions. And oftentimes, it doesn't matter the size of your company, $5 billion's a lot of money, but if you're not being ran the right way in this environment, in this industry, you can push a company can go out of business. We see it all the time.
Yeah, you can't. And you know what, Rick, you bring up a great point with technology and the information, utilizing it. If you're not staying at the head of the curve, if you're not on the front of the wave in this technological environment, you're going to get swallowed up, right? I mean, it's just going to happen to you. And I think this is kind of what's going on with this a little bit. I truly believe that the freight's going to be no problem. The industry will absorb it so easily. I think we'll suck it all up, and it really won't be a ripple. I mean, there probably won't be.
Yeah, it's the people, right?
It's the people.
It's the people that's behind it. And let me tell you, when you're in this industry, so many of what we do, Dave, decisions we make, so much about transportation is the people.
Absolutely.
This is an industry that doesn't forget the people. The drivers, the dispatch. We're all in it together. Most of the time, we're breaking bread together. Most of the time, we're getting our hands dirty. Yes, we rely on each other to make sure we're doing the right thing. Dave, little things that we talk about when it comes to that is technology, right? And we can jump into technology. We're going to talk Waymo in a second. But Dave, technology is a big player that if you don't stay ahead of technology, and technology sometimes is difficult. It's difficult for non-unionized companies. It's difficult for unionized companies to incorporate that. Listen, if you don't bring it in, you're fighting a battle that you're not going to win because technology is here. Dave, maybe the only place it's not here is in this right here, right? The autonomous trucking.
They were a big player. I saw them on the road. They've been out on the road.
Oh, yes.
They're out running. They were out running the Dallas to Houston lane a lot. You saw this truck in truck stops. We had drivers calling in, taking
for sure.
pictures. Waymo was out there, and look at this. What a huge announcement that they're backing away from the trucking.
Yeah, that trucking industry, when it comes to technology, that industry is so ready for it. But Dave, the money, the technology, the government. I go into all of this, Dave, because again, why would I want to be an autonomous truck person today when I'm going to get sued? Just like it happens to Tesla.
Yep.
At some point, we're going to have some regulation there that hey, protect the trucking companies too, but Dave, that protect these folks here because nobody's going to jump in this thing.
Right, because it's one thing to blame a person on the stand, but to blame an inanimate object that is totally at fault, then guess what? There'll be no mercy, and you know it, Rick, right?
There's no doubt about it. We're going to go to a quick break, but Drive Safe Dave, when we come back, let me tell you something. Much dealings with Generation Z, folks.
I have had my fair share.
Kids, right?
Kids.
I think your daughter's still in that range there, right? She's a Generation Zer, a different little animal right there. A different group of people. Generation X was tough. Dave, I think we were perfect, right?
Oh, yeah.
Our generation was, but my goodness.
I'm glad there weren't cell phones that were taking pictures back then.
It's all about work-life balance. It's not about profits. We're going to talk a little bit more about that coming up next on BCB Live,
the safest station in the nation.
Rick Larkin here, host of BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. If you don't already know about Freight and Review, it's a segment I cover once a week where I analyze freight rejections, freight tenders, driver productivity, and much, much more. You can watch Freight and Review on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live. Dave, we have Generation Z And then we have these folks right here. Before we get into the Zers, everybody is eligible to be picked on here on BCB Live. Dave, talk to me a little bit about.
Yeah, so on Wednesday they announced that they raised the interest rate to 5.3. First, the highest it's been since 2001. And it was really interesting. They also said they no longer forecast a recession because of some of the key indicators and the reason why they went ahead and pushed it up. And one of those was the unemployment rate is as strong as it's been in years. And they feel that that alone, plus the economy continue to expand, they believe that they needed to stay on top of it so that it doesn't get a little bit of runaway inflation.
Does that mean I'm still going to have to overpay for eggs?
Yeah.
I mean, is that...
That's what they're trying to stop. They're trying to stop the overpayment for eggs. But what it does mean is you might have to overpay on your loan, your car loan or your house loan.
Or you may actually have to pay back loans that you took out, such as those college loans. Drive safe, Dave.
You might have to.
One word, here we go. Paying back college loans, fair or unfair?
Pay it back. Fair.
Fair.
You sign the
fair. You sign it, you go to school, you're going to get that part right there. Hey, Drive Safe, let's talk a little bit about that economy, though. Dave, look at the freight up here to my right-hand side, up to 11,300 shipments. Freight has been moving since July came back. Dave, not only have drivers came back to start driving and working again, but it looks like, to your point, there's more and more stuff that just continues to get shipped out no matter what they do.
Yeah, they're spending money. People are spending money. They're spending money this summer, and it's really a surprise to both all the economists, especially the tightening of the grip of the economy, but they're continuing to spend.
Yeah, this is year to date right here, and you can see we're as high today as we've been all year.
Yep.
So a lot of freight being shipped out. We continue to see that side. The rejection, so when a lot of freight gets shipped out, we tend to get a little bit more freight being rejected. But Dave, nothing staggering at 3.17 at all, which means that the spot market prices will stay low. They're not going to go up at all. So they're going to remain where they are. And Dave, this is kind of the graph that shows that. When we look at the green right here, that's the spot market pricing at about $1.61 a mile. We've seen it come down from $2.10, Dave, at the very top, all the way down to where it is. That truck side, right, the contracted rates are still hanging out in that 240, 241 range. So it's good to see that number kind of stick out. It kind of just tells me, Dave, that everything that I see, freight going up, contracted rates remaining steady, that we have kind of bottomed out. This is, you can, I'm not ready to write this in red yet, Dave, but I am going to say this. It's almost time to go ahead and plan your budget out today for the next 12 months, that the same trends may happen next year. It is kind of what it is at this point. Fuels were normalized.
Yeah, it does look like it's stabilized a little bit, and it's been stabilized for a while. I mean, it's not like 3 or 4 days. It's been stabilized now over many months, and we're in a continuous pattern going forward. And you know what? With the economy and some of the economists saying that it's doing well, that's good for us.
Amen on that. Hey, listen, Dave. Quick break. We're gonna come right back though.
Okay.
We're gonna come back with weather. We're going to try to make time for Generation Z, because if we don't, they're going to be saying, I told you so. We have the same struggle. It's that work-life balance blindness is something of what they call it. Coming back next on BCB Live.
The safest station in the nation.
What if it was different?
We get a bad rap from those pesky lawyers. I'm David Dover.
The Sledgehammer.
It ain't pretty when you get detained at the shipper or receiver for hours on end. How many holidays did you spend over the road away from the family?
Call David Dover, the Sledgehammer, to report a driver that's done something right.
All right. right, and we are back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. We're going to take a quick look at the weather before we get out of here today. And I can show you right now, there's a lot of activity in the Northeast. Thunderstorms are going to be running up in New York and up in the Northeast. Look up there, Sir Rick, up here in the Midwest. You've got some storms coming in. But really, this is where the heat dome is going to relay. Look at it. Look how far north. Look at it, Pierre, South Dakota, 98 degrees. I mean, is that not hot? Huron, Sioux Falls, 97. These are hot. North Platte, Nebraska, 100 today.
Wow, that Northeast is really hot, drive safe day.
No, they're up in the Midwest. Did I say Northeast?
No, you didn't. I was just going back to a reference.
But these are going to continue to be hot. Phoenix is 111. They continue to stay really hot. Look, it is a real thing. We are in a pressure dome, and it looks like it's going to be hanging around for a while, Sir Rick.
It is. No, it's not going anywhere. Drink plenty of fluid. Listen, it's, you've got to make sure you drink water, not so much diet soda or sodas at all. Put that water in that body. Stay hydrated. Make sure that you're prepared for this weather, Dave. It is hot.
Absolutely. Watch out for the kids, too. If they're out playing sports and they're out doing activities.
But drink the water first, and then watch out for the kids. Drink water first. Hey, listen, we will see you. We're taking you back to local programming. Thank you for watching BCB Live.
The safest station in the nation. See you tomorrow.